kajing thep vote hakabai election Ampati mentakasngi banjit ya ni kanong mikmat matmai kalapai palat kandai 4% kinong thep vote ya kani layatu do chief electoral officer kajela uba Frederick R Kharkongor habakran mentakajanmit bat kilat pathai khubor hasilong CEO layatu katkum kajingyo jingtep jongu hadu kapor san sausan janmit kajingdan kinong thep vote Ampati kalong kandai 4.4% kabakham duna khandian nak election badang sudap kabalong kandai 4.9% Henry nakaliang CEO laong pakani kajingdan kinong thep vote kala ban kham kieu hadien bo onda yo lomlut ya kijing khen nabaro kibenta kibakham sakandong ru uba Kharkongor ula pentem bakajingya thep vote kalalong kabayaj bet klem kanu kajingja watla kajingya lap election kalalong kabakluj haswa kasngi thep vote hakani ke election kaladan ru kajing ujor jahar hadu santli nabaro arliang kata nakaliang ke NPP bat ke kongres ulaya ru bakadan tangkawai ke vivipat ke badan kajing tun kepala bujirino Henry kiwaipat ki machine kilong gibayaj ben ke Ampati kadan kemba arufrah jartam kinong thep vote bakajingya khun kaya kluj bah pedang ke kertong ke kongres kamiani di Shira ke bedairu ke khun unong ilam kaliangan persya Dr. Mukul Sangma bat ukertong ke NPP uklemen momen
53 Ampati constituency have been successfully conducted. The voting percentage that has been recorded is 90.42%. 90.42%. And in 24 out of 39 polling stations, the voting percentage is above 90%. In 24 out of 39 polling stations. Yeah, and also I'm happy to share with you that there were a number of new things that were there. One is a creche for mothers with children. So creche was provided in those polling stations where a large number of mothers were there with small children. So creche was provided as part of polling station welfare. Apart from that, 5 polling stations were under webcasting, and there were also a large number of people with disabilities who had come for the electoral, for exercising their franchise. There were, as done in the previous General Assembly elections, there was one all-women polling station, there was one model polling station, and this time I am also happy to share with you that there were no polling stations where the presiding officers failed to clear mock poll data. So this is a much better improvement than what we had seen in the past, where in some of the polling stations we have seen some of the presiding officers forgetting or overlooking the need to clear the mock poll data. But this time none of the presiding officers failed to clear mock poll data. All the presiding officers they were able to clear the mock poll data, and I think we had taken some steps this time by improving training and by sending poll day reminders yesterday as well as this morning from the level of the district election officer, and also the RO. Reminders were sent via SMS. Also, special stickers were pasted at each and every polling station at a prominent place to remind the presiding officer and the polling party on the need to clear the mock poll data. So this time around we did not get any reports of failure to clear mock poll data. Then also this time we had got reports that there was certain man-animal conflict in 2 areas, namely Thakuran Bari and Rongsam Grey, and so there were 2 teams that were kept on standby, and forest teams. Each team was led by a ranger along with forest guards and some volunteers in case there were some elephants who disturbed the polling process. So these 2 teams were also kept on standby. Another point which is also creditworthy is that only one VVPAT was changed. There were no reports of machine failure, except one VVPAT machine. That also because there was a printing error. That also is not because the VVPAT malfunctioned as such, but because the paper slip failed to cut. So, since it had demonstrated that little error, it was changed, and this and this happened in a polling station called Rongram Grey, 9 Rongram Grey. So once the VVPAT was changed, the polling continued without any further disturbance, and we got no other reports of either ballot unit or control unit or VVPAT failure. Apart from this, we would also like to share with you that in all we had provided about 61 control units, 61 ballot units, and 65 VVPATs for the polls. But in effect, 39 BUs, 39 CUs, and 40 VVPATs were used. That is including the one that was changed. So these other, which was kept in reserve, they were just kept as a standby, and fortunately, fortunately they did not need to change these machines. So there was no untoward incident throughout the poll on the day of poll. 90.7. This time is 90.42.
That means a total of how many voters casted their vote today?
In absolute numbers, I don't have those figures. I will share with you when I get the absolute numbers.
90.70.
In the last poll, yes. In the last poll is 90.7. Yes.
70.
Yes. Now it's 90.42. But as I said, there are about 14 sectors. So these are the reports from most of the sectors. The DO is still in the process of compiling the complete figures, but more or less it will hover around this. But in case there are any updates, I will share with you through the group that we have. I will share if there are any further updates. We have, in fact, we have not officially received any complaint at my level. I have asked the RO and the DO that should such complaint come in black and white about such kind of violations, then it needs to be ascertained and immediate steps need to be taken. And the first step that needs to be taken is a show cause notice to be filed against the against the party which has violated this MCC. And these are the laid down procedures that are there. And whatever violations that are there also, as per laid down procedure, those are the kind of steps that will be taken. Most of these FIRs that have been filed, they have been registered. First of all, these FIRs have been registered, and cognizable cases have been registered, and all these cases will be under investigation, and the law will take its own course on these cases that have been registered. Because there are, as you say, there are a lot of FIRs and counter FIRs. So there has to be a proper investigation done because this is the proper procedure that is to be followed. Yeah, cognizable cases have been you mentioned regarding this case in Taguran Bari. Yeah, there also cognizable case has been filed under Ampati police station, and it has been filed under relevant sections of the IPC. And this also, the investigation is on, since this just happened.
So how many FIRs altogether?
How many FIRs? We have, as per the police report, there are about five FIRs. That I think we'll have to, party-wise, I don't have the position because the police have just given me the number of FIRs. Party-wise, we will share that with you.